that's okay with you, that's okay with me.
Where's Hart? He should have been here 20 minutes ago.
Harriman, he'll be here.
This is any indication of how he's going to run the law review.
Come on, it's summer.
It's irresponsible.
Harriman, lighten up.
Hey, Harriman, you must have gotten a lot of exercise carrying that grudge around all summer.
Very funny.
Hey! Hey, how is everyone's summer?
Short
but lucrative.
Clerked for a Wall Street firm, not bad.
How about you, Harriman?
She clerked for Vogue magazine.
Hart, can we get on with this?
Ooh, touchy. No, Harriman's right. We've got a lot of work to do. Okay. Now, the five of us are responsible for getting started on the Supreme Court note issue. Normally, we just review the major cases and in each major area. But I want to try something different. Uh-oh. Now, I've been here all summer reading Supreme Court decisions, and I think we've got to approach this next issue in an entirely different way. I sense the court is shifting its philosophy from moderate to conservative. I want to show that. So we have to focus on the trend, not the cases.
Hart, it has never been done that way.
I know that, but it's the perfect approach for right now, don't you see? The court is changing. We can make that clear. We can take that ocean of cases and part the waves.
First day on the job, he's got a Moses complex.
Would you just try it?
Hart, there's a reason why no one has ever done it this way. It makes no sense. People don't want to know about trends. They want to know about cases.
Look, I know it's usually not done this way. This is a new approach.
Well, new is one thing, but this is not women's wear daily.
Come on, guys.
It won't work.
Okay, how about this? We'll start out doing it the old way. Well, when you get started writing, you see if there isn't something to this idea.
We owe him that. He's the new president.
How about a little more enthusiasm?
Great, let's do it. It'll be terrific.
Hey, wait a minute. Maybe it's not such a bad idea. Come on, let's give it a shot.
Thanks, my Slesky.
But listen, it's your hide on the line, not mine, okay?
Right. Okay, the cases are right here on the desk. They've got assignments. Harriman.
What is it, Hart?
I know you had your heart set on the presidency. You feel you deserved it, and maybe you did.
What do you want, Hart?
For this to work out, for me to be a good president, I'm going to need your help. I think you're incredibly bright and talented. That's why I wanted you as the articles editor, second in command.
I thought that was Golden's idea, and Kingsfield's.
No, they left it up to me.
Well, thank you. Okay, what do you want me to do?
Well, the first thing I want you to tackle is the writing competition.
Hart.
Someone has to organize that competition, and Harriman, you're very well organized.
First of all, I don't believe in the writing competition.
Well, Harriman, there's a writing competition, whether you like it or not, and you're the best person to run it.
So is this a request or an order or what?
I don't want to order you around.
Boy, things are really going to be different around here. Hart, Golden never gave anyone a choice. He just said, do it.
Yeah, but Golden was a little bit stodgy. Harriman, would you please run the competition?
Okay.
Thank you. I mean it. I appreciate it.
Let's not turn this into the good ship Lollipop, Hart. You're welcome.
Okay, I think everybody is here. My name is Willis Bell. I'm a 3L in your DA, dorm advisor. I got Excuse me, ma'am, can I help you?
No, I'm fine.
Well, are you looking for your son or daughter?
No,
Well, this meeting is just for the new law students.
I am a new law student, Rose Samuels.
Pardon me?
Which word didn't you understand?
Knock it off. I'm sorry, Mrs. Samuels. Okay, I got some forms for you to fill out. Laundry service, mailbox assignments, meal tickets, miscellaneous other red tape. Now, the rules are as follows. No loud stereos, no hot plates or toaster ovens in the rooms, no co-ed showering. If you have a problem, I'm usually not available, so figure it out for yourself. End of meeting. And get these towel service forms back to you by next Thursday. You'll be drying yourself with Kleenex in the shower next week. Here you go, Mrs. Samuels.
Thank you.
And may I say, it's truly inspiring to see a person of your generation tackling something as tough as law school.
Thank you. Well, I tackled 3 kids. I think I can tackle law school.
3 kids, huh?
Mm-hmm. I bought the whole domestic package. Wife, mother, nurse, social secretary, chauffeur, seamstress.
Seamstress?
Mm-hmm.
You sew?
I'm known to do a wicked hem.
Oh, man, I got this ripped pocket here. My pens keep falling out. And...
I'll tell you what, I can fix that real easily.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Why don't you bring that to my room?
Great. And if you need a room with a better view, I think I can arrange something.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
Now, what are you planning to say?
How demanding working on law review can be, how difficult it will be to write their way on.
You are going to give them some encouragement?
Some.
Hello? My name is James Hart, and this is Rita Harriman. Guess I know a lot of you. For those of you I don't know, I'm president of the Law Review, and Rita's the articles editor. And we want to thank you all for coming back to school early for this writing competition. And I guess I'll turn this over to Rita, who's going to be in charge of the competition.
As you know, membership on the Law Review is determined primarily through grade point average. However, 3 years ago, a limited program was instituted to provide a few positions. 5 for those in their second year, 3 for those in their third year,
Not on the basis of grades.
but on the basis of the presentation of a superior case note, suitable for publication.
That's right. We're always looking for good, new writers.
A spot on the review is not to be taken lightly. It requires total dedication. The hours are long, the work is arduous. The rules of the competition are detailed in this handout, and if you'll step down here, I'll give you each a copy.
Ford,
I'm in here.
you're going out for law review.
Well, why not? Maybe it's about time I went up for something.
I think it's great.
Come on, James. You're nervous as hell about it. You're afraid I won't make it. Well, there must have been 20 people at that meeting today. You're only going to take 3.
Hey, I'm not nervous.
Well, I am. But I feel good about it. I want to put myself on the line for once. I've spent 2 years at this place being undistinguished, never daring to risk anything because I was afraid I wouldn't measure up. Hell, there's only 1 year left. This is it.
That's right. Damn, I'm glad you're back.
Willis Bell. You can go in for your interview.
Hello, I'm Professor Tyler.
Hi, I'm Willis Bell.
Sit down.
Thank you.
I understand you want to take my security regulation seminar. Why?
Well, first of all, I think it's a very important area of the law, and it's likely to get more important despite deregulation. Secondly, you have hands-on experience in the field, and I feel you can teach us what really happens and not just what's in books. And third, I hope it will get me a job.
That's a practical reason.
If you look at my record, Professor, it's no secret that I haven't exactly been a prize student, but a lot of that's due to the fact that I didn't know what kind of law I wanted to practice, and now I think I do know. Securities law, the stock market really interests me.
Mr. Bell, as you know, the seminar is oversubscribed. I have to find some equitable way of limiting enrollment. Everyone can't take it. And I note here that you have not taken a basic securities course, which is a requirement for the seminar.
But, you know, can't I make up for that? I mean, by being motivated?
The school does have prerequisites.
Professor Tyler, this is my 3rd year. I don't have time for prerequisites.
We'll see what we can do.
Vivian, when we sight check around here, we use a red pencil. Proofreading is done in blue, and changes in the text are done in green. Didn't Zeiss tell you?
Oh.
Zeiss! Yeah. You were supposed to take the new members and brief them on standard law review procedure.
You didn't tell me to do that.
Do I have to tell you everything? Would you please take them and brief them on it now?
I can't.
What?
I've got an appointment to get into Professor Tyler's security regulations seminar. I gotta go, Hart.
Hart, I have to go register for ad law.
Just a second. Okay, Mike, let's
Yeah, I'm out the door.
Harriman! Harriman, will you arrange for briefing the new members on standard operating procedures here?
Hart, you put me in charge of the writing competition. Now, that's a full-time job in itself. Plus, I have to do my own work and edit articles for the review. I can't do everything for you.
Yeah.
So, figure something out, Hart. They made you president. Figure it out for yourself.
Oh, shoot!
Is everything all right?
I was just looking for one clean dish.
Yeah, I guess we've both been pretty busy.
They smell like Anita Bryant.
How's everything at the review?
Not so good. Things I didn't bargain for. Hey, how's your case note coming?
Harder than I thought. Got to get back to it.
Right.
Hello, Mrs. Nottingham.
Oh, Professor Kingsfield is busy drafting a speech. I cannot disturb him.
I do need to talk with him.
Well, I'll tell him as soon as he's free.
Why, hello, Professor.
Hello.
Nottingham, these are ready for a final draft. Won't you come in?
You're not too busy?
Not at all. Well, I trust the start of your teaching has been satisfactory.
Oh, very much so. Except my class is oversubscribed.
Your reputation has preceded you.
Charles, how rigid is the faculty on course requirements?
Well, course requirements are firmly enforced here, as in most law schools. Why do you ask?
Well, there's a student I'd like to see in class, but he hasn't met the prerequisites.
And who is that?
Willis Bell.
I don't know that Mr. Bell is sufficient cause for the derangement of our time-honored system of course requirements.
But Charles, this is my course. It should be up to me to select the students.
We cannot have haphazard standards, Professor. Some students depend on a certain order in planning their schedules.
Then the faculty will not budge on this?
I cannot speak for the faculty. But as the head of the appropriate committee, I can say that it seems highly unlikely.
And I thought Washington had a bureaucracy. When are course enrollments finalized?
Next week.
Perhaps I can keep Mr. Bell in class until then. And then the head of the appropriate committee can assess his progress at that time.
B, knowing the horse is a bargain at that price, says, I accept. Is there a contract?
No,
He accepted the
it
contract.
doesn't matter. Either party knows that the other did not mean what he said. There's no contract.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay. Hey, look, why don't we call in tonight?
No, let's take a break and then we'll go over it again. No, really, come on, that's a good idea. Hey, Rose.
Hi, Russ. Hello, Lisa. Did you get a chance to mend that blouse I gave you?
I'll get to it as soon as I finish Soloway's socks.
Oh, thanks.
Listen, you guys study together, huh?
Yeah, we formed a study group.
I'll get to that blouse right away, I promise.
Thanks.
Rose, it seems like you've become the resident seamstress around here. You got time for that?
Oh, well, it helps the kids out.
Well, what about you? You're one of the kids, too.
I guess I like to feel needed.
Tom, let's get started.
Well, don't let them take advantage of you.
Don't worry about me, Tom. I'm used to kids trying to take advantage of me, and I know when to stop.
All right. Okay, so where were we? Oh, right.
Talking about the contract.
Yeah, A to B, I'm right, for $100. Okay, now the key.
You're on the right track, Zeiss. Now, turn it around so that the focus is on what the trend means. Hart, I am not a freaking futurist, for God's sake. Look, what I'm asking you to do isn't that hard. I just want a different slant. Why are you all resisting it?
The review has never been done like this before.
Bart, we're out of our league with this analysis.
Would you just try it? If it doesn't work, we won't do it.
Okay, Hart. You're the boss.
Law review. Hart. Telephone.
I'll call back.
It's Kingsfield.
Take it now. Hello?
Oh, Mr. Hart.
Yes, Professor.
Mr. Hart, I've been giving your first issue some thought, and it has occurred to me that you might consider doing an article on the court's tax decision on gratuitous transfers.
Gratuitous transfers?
Gifts, Mr. Hart, gifts.
Yes, sir.
Have been some quite interesting developments in that field, of which I'm quite sure that you are aware.
Yes, of course.
Good. Good day, Mr. Hart.
So what'd he say?
He thinks we ought to include the IRS case on gift taxes.
Gift taxes? Where the hell are we going to put gift taxes?
I'm not sure. But he obviously thinks it's an important case. Let's get on it.
What do you mean, let's? I still have to finish the section on takeovers.
Now, Harriman,
What do gift taxes have to do with trends?
I'm not sure.
Then what about the focus of the issue?
Figure it out. Figure it out.
Mr. Ford. I do have your name right. You are Mr. Ford, are you not?
Yes, sir, it's Ford.
Well, Mr. Ford, can you explain how it is in Clark versus Siglia? How are we to conclude what damages are due?
Yes, sir. Isn't the question whether after one party has breached the contract, the other can continue to run up the damages without attempting to litigate? For example, suppose you were supposed to deliver an engine for my factory. I'd hired several workers to run the engine, then you failed to deliver it. Could I continue to pay them even though they had no work to do? And charge you for it because you breached the contract by failing to deliver the engine? I submit that in this case, their employment would be at my expense even though you breached the contract.
Quite right, Mr. Ford. And if Mr. Ford had paid them in advance before delivery, Mrs. Samuels.
Sir, are we discussing Clark versus Marsiglia?
We are discussing a hypothetical, Mrs. Samuels. Surely you've been following the discussion, and presumably you know what a hypothetical is.
Yes, sir, I know what a hypothetical is.
Then give us an answer. Could he recover his expense before delivery?
I'm not sure.
Is that the way you intend to argue before judges, Mrs. Samuels? You'll explain that you are not sure?
I guess I don't know. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry has never won a lawsuit, nor has it ever had any relevance in this class. So either be prepared to answer the question, Mrs. Samuels, or occupy your time in some other way.
Oh, Professor Kingsfield, I'm Rose Samuels. I'm in your contracts class.
Yes?
I just wanted to talk to you about something.
Call my secretary and make an appointment. Her name is Mrs. Nottingham.
Well, I thought perhaps we could go get a cup of coffee or something.
I am not in the habit of socializing with my students. If you have something to say it during office hours.
I really don't need a formal meeting, Professor. Well, what I wanted to talk to you about the way you treat me in class.
I treat you no differently than I do my other students.
Well, that's exactly what I mean. I'm twice any other student's age. I haven't been to school in almost 25 years, and that was in the late 50s. In the 60s, I got married, I had my children, and then when I became separated, I wanted to do something special with my life.
Mrs. Samuels, I am not interested in your autobiography.
All I wanted to say, Professor, was couldn't you please take it a little easy on me? I'm awfully new at this.
Are you asking for special consideration in the light of your advanced years?
Well, I wouldn't put it that way.
I'm relieved to hear it. I would consider such a request unconscionable.
Writing our way onto law review. This is crazy. More work. And what if we don't make it? We'll have written these masterpieces for nothing.
If we had better grades, we would have been accepted in the first place.
I'm starving. I'm gonna go to the vending machines and see if I can find something that passes for food.
Hey, Tom. I heard you really brought a twinkle to old Kingsfield's eye.
I just answered a question.
Yeah, I'll bet. I bet you follow in Hart's footsteps and ace that course.
Frank. Haven't seen you very much since I've been here.
I've been kind of busy.
Yeah, I can see. I've left messages. You haven't returned my calls. It's almost like you're avoiding me.
Don't be ridiculous. I just haven't had the time for socializing. After the competition is over, I'll call you.
Frank, don't do this.
Do what?
After the competition's over, there'll be something else. It's like there's this wall between us that I'm trying to tear down, and you keep adding bricks. I mean, we're brothers, Frank. It's a special relationship, but it's not automatic. We need to make room for each other, and I'm more than willing to meet you halfway.
Tom. Are you free for dinner this Saturday?
Sure.
Good. You buy.
Okay. Good luck with the review.
Thanks.
Hart, I just don't see how the gift tax case fits into a law review issue.
Hart.
That's primary focus is the change in the Supreme Court.
Hart.
It fits.
Why does it fit?
Look, Kingsfield suggested it. It has to fit.
It has to fit just because Kingsfield suggested it?
Vivian, you're a new member. You've been on law review for less than 2 weeks. Don't question Kingsfield.
Okay.
Listen, Hart, I got problems. I'm behind on my classes. I'm beginning to write my third-year paper, so I'm falling behind on my notes. But listen, what does it matter if you're substituting the Kingsfield piece anyway?
I am not substituting anything. I am fitting it all together. What? What is it, Zeiss?
Listen, Hart, Golden always held a weekly meeting of the hierarchy, end of the day Wednesday. Now, what gives?
What gives?
It's Wednesday, end of the day.
Fine. Then go meet with Golden. You got the coffee machine in there?
No.
Well, have you seen the coffee machine?
Damn it, no. Get it, will you?
Hello? Look, Zeiss, I told you to reconcile the two themes. Will you please not bother me? The reason I bring the review work home is because I need some peace and quiet. Yeah? No? I don't care about that. Just make sure the printer knows the approximate date we'll be bringing the issue in.
How many more times is that phone going to ring?
I don't know. I wish they'd leave me alone. All of them.
Well, why don't you just take it off the hook?
And how are they going to reach me if they need me?
James, you're not making any sense. But I can't work if this phone is going to be ringing every 2 seconds.
Well, they have to be able to get me for it. I'm president of the law review. And that happens to be my phone, and I happen to live here, in case you hadn't noticed.
Oh, I've noticed. But I don't think you realize I live here, too. This is where I work and think. Now, I may not be president of the law review, and maybe I didn't ace Kingsfield's class, but I have rights around here, too.
You know what, Ford? Keep the whole damn place for yourself. Damn it!
glad you're here. I've been looking at the first issue. Stayed up all night with it, and it doesn't make sense.
I know.
I've been trying to figure it out, to straighten it out.
Yeah, so have I. It's like... The problem is you can't have it both ways.
Yours and Kingsfield's.
Right. Maybe I should call Kingsfield, talk it over with him.
You've got to make a decision, Hart. That's what you have to do. I've been reviewing with my committee the submissions for the writing competition. Here are the finalists.
Thanks.
I've got to be honest with you. Ford's stuff just didn't cut it. He's not among the finalists.
What was wrong with it?
He failed to synthesize his material. He made several points and never related one to the other.
I'd like to read it.
What?
Ford's note.
Isn't that sort of a conflict of interest? His being your roommate and all?
I just want to look at it.
I'll get it for you. But can you handle another decision?
Miss Nottingham, I wonder if I could speak to Professor Kingsfield for a moment.
He's very busy.
I could wait. This is law review business?
Professor Kingsfield, Mr. Hart would like a few minutes of your time. Go on, Mr. Hart.
Yes.
Professor Kingsfield, it's about your suggestion to do a gift tax case?
What about it?
Sir, we have tried to integrate it into our first issue. I know you suggested it for a reason, but it just doesn't fit in with the overall thrust of the issue.
And why is that?
Because it's just a regular tax case. It doesn't demonstrate any kind of judicial shift to the right.
So what do you intend to do, Mr. Hart?
We've decided not to include it.
Very good, Mr. Hart.
Very good.
As president of Law Review, you made the decision in your first issue to develop one single theme. Now stick to it, Mr. Hart. No wanderings into left field. I congratulate you on your decision. Good day.
I am pulling the case Kingsfield suggested.
You sure, Hart, there could be trouble?
I took care of it. We are going with my original plan, same order as before. So get on it.
Right after class for me, Hart.
Hey, to hell with class. Get to work now, Zeiss. Vivian! This is a red pencil. You know what it's for?
Sight checking.
That's right, sight checking. So sight check. Into the library. Don't show yourself until the first 50 pages are clean as a whistle.
Do you think I'm ready for that?
You gotta be.
Hart, I hate to be negative, but who's going to put all this together?
We all are. That's what editors are for.
Hart, this is your issue. You know what you want it to say, how you want it to look. You can't touch up the articles and get them ready for the printer. We just don't have time.
You're right, you're right. Harriman! Harriman, call the printers and make all the arrangements. Then figure out the layout. Follow up on the citation. Double-check the rewrites. I want an objective eye.
That's a lot of responsibility.
That's why I want you to do it, and that's the last you'll hear from me. All right? Let's get to it!
The Securities Acts of the mid-1930s were the high water mark in the movement against laissez-faire, or the leave-us-alone policy of government towards business. The beginning of this shift came with the antitrust laws in the late 1800s. After years of lobbying, the Sherman Act was passed in 1896. Yet no cases were filed for the next 20 years. Would anyone care to tell us why?
The rule of reason. The Supreme Court held that only unreasonable restraints of trade violated the law. And only a clear-cut monopoly such as Standard Oil or American Tobacco violated the law.
Right. But is this what Congress intended? Or did the court undercut it?
You'd have to say that this was what Congress intended, or else it would have passed new legislation.
Everyone agree with that? Mr. Bell?
Me?
Yes, you, Mr. Bell. You don't agree, do you?
Well, the country was going through a social revolution at the time, and the court suppressed it.
An excellent point. Please continue.
Continue? Well, that was an amazing time in constitutional history. They struck down the income tax, antitrust laws, and the rights of organized labor. And that was all in 1 year.
And?
A short while later, they decided Plessy versus Ferguson and said legal segregation was okay. Now, McKinley hadn't been assassinated, and if the country wasn't so scared of a constitutional showdown, Congress would have jammed it right down their throats. Basically, what you had was a reactionary court that was stifling the popular will.
Very good, Mr. Bell. How did you arrive at that?
Well, mostly what I remember from con law, tax, and some new things I learned in this class, Professor.
Well, that's a very important point. The law exists in the context which is shaped by the courts and by the politics of the time. What may seem a major cause in one era could be taboo or impermissible in another. Which leads us to another point. All these ideas, the income tax, outlawing segregation, the labor movement, all eventually gained recognition. One cannot resist a progressive idea forever.
From the order in which the facts are to be alleged is to be inferred. Just leave it by the door.
Thanks, Rose.
To be inferred that the appellee accepted appellant's offer. Appellee accepted appellant's offer before the latter purchased the vessel, before the latter, purchased the vessel. Leave it by the door, please.
Okay, Rose.
Purchased the vessel. Purchased.
Here, Miss Samuels. When can you have that done?
Learn to sew. I just retired.
I don't know, see, I don't think it's valid until it's received.
Look, I want to join your study group.
We already have enough people.
No, we've always got room for one more. It's fine. Rose, have a seat.
Thank you, Tom. So, what are you talking about?
This hypothetical. Mr. Jones signs an insurance policy for his home on Monday. He mails it on Tuesday. The company receives it on Friday. If his home burns down on the Wednesday in between, was he insured?
Well, what do you think?
I say he was insured on Tuesday. Lehman says he was insured on Friday, and nobody else has an opinion.
agree with you.
Oh, any particular reason, other than he invited you in?
Adams versus Lindsay. Contracts become effective when an acceptance is mailed.
That makes no sense. An offer isn't valid until it's received. Why shouldn't acceptance be any different?
Because dispatches through the mail must be a legitimate form of communication, otherwise all commerce would break down.
Yeah, see, that's right.
It's all laid out in the Williston and Gary case. An offer is valid upon receipt, an acceptance is valid upon dispatch, and a revocation to supersede an acceptance must be received.
All right, Rose, that was great.
Except in Brazil and Germany, where it's the other way around.
Hi.
Hi.
That coffee I smell.
Fresh. Just made it.
I'm sorry, Ford. I got angry and I said things I really didn't mean.
Me too. It was stupid of me to feel you were responsible for my difficulties.
Pressure makes us do weird things.
Tell me about it.
These are the results of the writing competition. I didn't make it, Ford. I'm sorry.
Laura made it. She'll be happy.
And for what it's worth, I really wanted you on the review.
It's worth a lot. Thank you, James. It was a rather impulsive thing for me to do. I think it had something to do with my brother coming here. Whenever we're together, I just get so competitive. I just hate myself.
Well, we're all incredibly competitive around here.
It's a lot of work for the wrong reason. And not much fun.
I never thought this sucker would work. But now that I see the whole thing in print, I think it's outstanding.
I think it's the best damn issue we've ever done.
This is terrific, Art.
If it was you, Hart, you really knew what you wanted.
Remind me not to doubt you next time you get inspired.
Okay.
Wait a minute. This is for all the doubters. Now we can all eat our words.
It's really good to see everybody in such a great mood.
Hey, enjoy it. Should last about 12 seconds more, then we'll all start on the next issue.
The competition starts all over again.
What did Kingsfield say?
Nothing.
12 seconds.
He approved the galleys when he saw them 2 weeks ago, but he never commented on whether or not he liked it.
Has he seen it published?
I left a copy for him with Nottingham this morning.
Hey, it was a great issue, Hart. You can be damn proud of it. We all can be.
Yeah, but unless Kingsfield... What?
Mr. Hart, since it is a historical fact that the Supreme Court is subject to extreme shifts of philosophy every few decades, may I say that you have illustrated that with a great deal of originality. You've shown prescience and understanding. I congratulate you on a very exceptional first issue.
Well, well, well.
Hey, what's your problem, Harriman?